Hey YouTube, this is going to be my review of the Super Rares in Set 23 Invasion. Overall, I think the set is going to be a really good set, and it's going to add a lot of flavor to the game. So first off, I'll start with the starter decks. The reprints from the starter deck set are going to see the most play are going to be Idate, Sea Monster, Gamma, the Zabuza from Approaching Wind, Appearance of an Unrival, Paper Bomb, and Saint Simon. I think all those have a chance at seeing some real good play. Zabuza combos with Zabuza Haku and being an instant squad. The zero drops are all I'll see a lot of play. Idate because put in play just got hit because of Ambu. Sea Monster is a great stall card, and with everyone playing a lot of dual element stuff like Make-Out Tactics, Anka's Memory, Monster Research, Infinite Embrace, all of that stuff will allow Sea Monster to attack. Gamma just purely for stats, and that he's a dual element card. Appearance is just a 2 for 3 most likely, so that's always good. Paper Bomb is going to be good in the rush decks like the NVS and even the Mono Lightning rush decks it could see playing. And Saint Simon is going to be good for kind of anti-meta water. It's not going to be great for the decks that are running Sakan Ukan and Zabuza, but it could see play in just stuff that doesn't reinforce a lot. Earth doesn't reinforce a lot. There's a chance it could replace the turn 2 Eno because it basically does what that does, except negating the head ninja, because the turn 1 Eno has 3 mental power, which is good for mind transfer. So onto the super rares. The Sasuke, I think, will see a lot of play. He has a really good effect for versus the meta decks, which are Lightning and Water at the moment. And I think that Lightning and Water will still be really good next set. So he'll see a lot of play in decks that aren't Lightning and Water. And he might see play in Chakra Control, although they might be better off playing Sasuke, Overwhelming Vengeance. The Naruto I don't think is very good. His effect is kind of generic, it's not very flavorful, and I just don't think he'll see play over Naruto's like Attunement, the Emerging Beast, or the turn 5 Tailed Beast. Onto the set supers, my favorite of the set is Shino. I think his effect is going to be really good in Lightning and potentially Water decks that are going to play Leech, and decks that already play Kushina. Being that Ambus are banned and early put in play is kind of absent from the game at the moment, I think that the bug coins are going to be really good, even though they cost 2 chakra. And the fact that when he's in play, that the bug coins have an effect, I think is really good. Being able to control what your opponent draws, just giving them like a 0 drop, just giving them bad cards, is really good. Next up, Sasori. I think it's a really good card. It has a lot of synergy with the turn 0 Conqueror, and I like the fact that you can sacrifice himself to bring out a second and a third Sasori if you use your puppets to chump block, or if you use them with another card that discards them again, you can just bring them out again. I think that's a really good aspect of Sasori. The fact that he's turn 7 is kind of a bummer. I think he should be probably turn 6, and he'd see a lot more play. But overall, he's a solid card, and will definitely add support to the Wind puppet theme. Onto Earth, Tenten. I think she's a really flavorful card with a really interesting effect. At the moment, I don't think she's going to see a whole lot of play until we get some more powerful weapon jutsus. But in the future, she could definitely be a really solid super rare, depending on how they do the weapon theme. She has a lot of synergy with the set 20 Killer Bee that makes all your jutsus with requirement weapon cost only 1. But other than that, I don't think she'll see a lot of play immediately. But in the future, she definitely has a lot of potential. Deidara, I think, is a really good card. I like the fact that he's dual element. I think that the free BR theme is going to be mainly fire, as all of the BR oriented cards are Fire X. I really like that he can just make it so that dropping 1 ninja gains 2 battle awards, being that he can discard himself. So in that deck, it's going to be really tough to give up early battle awards against it. Just being that late game, you can go drop Deidara, discard just a random low drop to get 1 battle award, and then the next turn on turn 6 you can drop Hanzo, get a battle award off Hanzo's effect, then discard Hanzo to grab 2. So from turn to 5 to 6, you can get 4 Battle Awards fairly easily. I think that the BR theme deck could definitely see mainstream play, being that the power play with Deidara and Hanzo is just like 3 BRs, and like you're playing once you get to turn 6, you only have to have 7 Battle Awards to win. So I think Deidara will definitely see a lot of play. I don't think he'll see a lot of play in Earth because Ambush is too important, and the fact that he doesn't have Mastery for the C4 is just not very good for the Earth decks. Next up for the free Battle Award theme deck is Jiraiya. I don't think he's going to see a lot of play in the free BR theme deck, but he's definitely the best Jiraiya out right now and could see some play in just mono lightning decks. He's not bad by any means, and dropping him on turn 6 with like a Six Tails is going to be basically 2 Battle Awards no matter what, unless they have some sort of jutsu that you don't have an answer to. So he's definitely a good card, not a bad card in any way. It's just kind of hard to fit him into decks at the moment, being that you kind of want your 6-drops to be 4th Hokage and Lightning, and in the BR theme deck you want Hanzo. So he's just kind of going to be a hard card to fit into the decks. Next we have Sakumo. The first appearance of Sakumo. I think he's a good card, not bad in any way. They've been making less bad supers, I think, and he'll definitely could see some play in just generic mono fire. He doesn't really add support to the mill theme, which is fire's main theme at the moment, but his effect is really good. Forces them to block pretty much, and if you go first, you're most likely going to be ahead of them, being that there aren't very many removal jutsus. So I think he's good. I think he'll probably see play as a one-of, probably not more. Other than that, there's not much else to say about him. Next fire card, Kamui, I think is probably the worst super in the set. It's just cards that, with strict requirements, don't see a lot of play right now. And the fact that it's a hefty cost and it has to be a ninja on the battlefield, it's just too hard to play, basically. The fact that it auto masteries is pretty cool, but I don't think it's going to help it see a whole lot of play. It doesn't fit the whole mill theme, which is Fire's competitive theme, and it doesn't have a whole lot of synergy with the free BR theme. So it's just kind of generic Fire, and I don't think it'll see a whole lot of play. Lightning Blade, I think, isn't terrible, but at the same time, it's probably the second worst super in the set. Like I said, jutsus with strict requirements don't see a whole lot of play right now. It's just the fact that you can chump block the team that you know has a user for a powerful jutsu, and then it doesn't really do much for it, especially with this, is just a pump plus damage if you play with lightning. But it's definitely, it could see some play. Dual element is good. Dual element's always good. And, but finding room for a lightning blade right now just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen in most decks. Rasengan. I think Rasengan's definitely probably the best super in the set. It's going to see the most amount of play. It's going to be a 3-of in all lightning decks. The fact that it can be used by 4th Hokage, and 4th Hokage can just be put into play in any team at any turn, is just really overpowered. It basically guarantees the fact that whatever team 4th is in is going to be an OV, and it takes out a back ninja, so you can injure one of the back ninjas with force effect, take out the other back ninja, and then the team's gone. And the fact that KNS can use it on turn 2, and then you can just swing with a team of Naruto and a team of KNS, and then both can be able to use removal jutsus. It's just too good. It's definitely one of the most powerful supers in the set, as well as the most overpowered removal, being that it makes an OV almost guaranteed. Lastly, we have the card that could make Void competitive. I don't think it's as good as I thought it was initially, now that we've seen Rasengan, and that's just way too overpowered removal for lightning. But it could definitely have a deck built around it. I think making a void deck around it, boosting your turn marker up, being able to Almighty Push when your opponent's on their turn 4 is obviously a game ender. Almighty Push is a game ender basically whenever it resolves. Um, I could definitely see it being tier 1 and making void decks just overpowered, and it definitely could make Devapath splashed in certain decks that don't have a finisher, don't have very many removal jutsus, just because there's a lot of good Devapaths, like, they all could see play. Personally, I think the best one to use is the Chibi one, um, but Almighty Push is definitely a great super in this set, and it's going to make Void competitive, and that's always a good thing. So that's what I think of all the super rares. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.